Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Great to be with you today. It is super, super early. I apologize. I'm wearing the same shirt I wore yesterday, but I haven't been to bed yet. And so I'm not trying to impress you with a wardrobe, and I don't want you to think boy, this guy doesn't shower. I do. I just haven't been to bed yet. So please show me a little bit of grace. I appreciate you all. It's great to be with you. I want to thank you, our subscribers, our listeners, going through the roof. We're growing exponentially, and it's all because of you guys. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with all of you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I just want you to know it. We have some very important things to talk about today. This is going to be very, very important from start to finish, and we've got some major issues to address. I am going to have an article later today that you don't want to miss. It's going to give a lot more details. I was asked by someone to look into all these rumors. Now, there was a lot of rumors that Cliff Kingsbury was only offered a 2-year deal because that was all that AP got. Now, the Raiders do not comment on coaching contracts. That's not because it's AP. That's not what they do. So I don't blame the Raiders at all. But there was just so much crap, and it's just disrespectful of Antonio Pierce. It's disrespectful of the Raiders. It's disrespectful of Mark Davis. And people just can say whatever they want. And just make sure you read my article. But I want to let you know, and in my article, I'm going to give a lot more details. I have dug into this. It's absolutely, fundamentally, completely untrue. Untrue. We're going to leave it right there. AP did not get a 2-year deal. It's just ridiculous. And I'll have a lot more details in my article, but it's just like people that say the Raiders are broke. It's just not true. But people just keep saying it, and whatever. I can't do anything about it. But I want you to know, in the article, I'm actually going to get into a lot more details about a person reaching out to me who was very frustrated. I'm going to tell you, how I went about to find out information when the Raiders don't talk about contracts. And oh, by the way, AP didn't tell me, but I'm going to be addressing this. But I want to just let you know, because I think that when you say that, first of all, you make Mark Davis look like a jerk, and then you make AP look desperate, and it's fundamentally unfair. And I'm going to say this: if you spread that kind of crap, you can say you're a Raider fan, and a lot of people may believe you. I don't. I'm not even a fan, and I wouldn't spread that crap. But it's completely BS and not true. So we're going to leave it there. I just want to get that out of the way, because I sometimes, with Raider Nation, and I get it, people are frustrated. It's been 20 years of failure. I get it. But there are some people that just want to divide Raider Nation, and it makes no sense to me. None. And okay, they hated Derek, loved Derek. We're on one side, on another side, on other issues. It just seems like every issue. Well, I didn't get my way. My coach wasn't picked. Mark didn't like him either. You people forced him to hire him, and he only got a 2-year deal. Okay, you're welcome to say whatever you want, but you sound stupid because you're saying stuff that isn't true. And that's where that stuff gets proliferated. I've had people say it on my social media or in comments, just say, well, that's why you only got a 2-year deal. I mean, give me a break. And you know what? This is an organization full of good people. Has Mark Davis, every decision he made, I agreed with? No. But I don't ever think Mark Davis set out or has ever set out to do anything to hurt the Raiders. And guess what? Over my life, I've made decisions that, looking back, I disagree with. I completely disagree with. So why would I get mad at Mark for something I've done? But he's not a bad guy. He cares. And now that his franchise has money, he's been willing to spend it and he's been willing to do whatever. And I have a ton of respect for AP as well. Good man. That's a good man. I mean, he's a great father, tremendous husband, loves and adores his bride. He's a hard worker. This is his dream job. Okay, you don't think he should get it? Okay. There are a lot of people that didn't think AP should have got the job, who I thought had really good reasons for it. I disagreed with them, but when they gave great, incredible answers, great and credible, not incredible, but great and credible, I'm like, okay, that's a fair opinion. Some people still pouting because he didn't get Harbaugh. All right, he didn't get him. Could have had him. Didn't want him. So you're going to turn on AP because you didn't get your guy? Come on now. But that BS of a 2-year deal is just disrespectful. And it causes frustration and angst in people. And it makes the Raiders look bad. It makes AP look bad because then some people believe that crap. This shouldn't be that way. Make sure you read my article. I want to also get on to another issue. So yesterday I got to spend significant time with Davante Adams, Micah Parsons, and Damar Hamlin. 3 just terrific young men. Just great guys. And it was at a private event, a Make-A-Wish event. It was the largest Make-A-Wish event for as far as number of kids in history, 20 kids. I put the video. I got a chance to talk to the national CEO of Make-A-Wish. It's on my Twitter account. I really encourage you to go listen to it. Leslie was just awesome. And but I had a chance to talk to Davante. I really encourage you to go watch that video. Listen to him talk about, Davante does so many things that when cameras aren't there, and that's his nature. But I encourage you to go watch the video if you haven't seen it, or go read my story on Luke Getsy. He talked about a Getsy. It was his first public comments about Getsy. Super excited that Getsy got the job. I told you all that they had talked to Davante before making the hire. He is super jacked up and fired up about it. Super jacked up. He had an interesting comment about running the West Coast, and that's what he's comfortable with. And I'm going to get more into that in another podcast later next week. But I may even get into it tomorrow, but either tomorrow or later next week. But I think you're going to really enjoy it. I think you're going to really like it. Some really solid, good stuff with Davante. So if you didn't see that video, please go watch it. Talking about Getsy and just his excitement. And I understand there are people who don't like the Getsy hire who have good, incredible opinions. I can't argue with them. Okay? I think it's a good hire because I think you let your coach pick his guy. But there are people who have given really good reasons of why they didn't like the Getsy hire. And while I disagree with them, I don't think they're stupid for having a differing opinion. Their opinions are credible. But if you just say, I don't like Getsy because he sucked last year in Chicago. Okay. There's people who will bitch if they have to pay taxes when they win the lottery as well. So can't say nothing about that. But when people have a good, credible opinion, you should be able to talk to people. You should be able to be reasonable and listen to people. Doesn't make them less of a Raider fan. But I don't care what side of any issue you sit on, politics, sports, whatever. People that just want to be blowhards with no reasonable, didactic, intellectual base of opinion, whatever. So, anyways, it was a phenomenal talk by Davante about Luke. Really, really good. And I think a lot of you, maybe if you're sitting on the fence, you should go listen to it. and or go read what I wrote and really get his response. I was very impressed spending time with Micah Parsons yesterday and Damar Hamlin and Davante as well at this event. I was very impressed listening to Micah and listening to how respectful he was. And I want to say this because I don't want to over represent it. When I say in awe, it didn't mean like, oh, but when you see the respect, a star like Micah Parsons, and let's not pretend that he's not a star. He's a star. The respect that he showed Davante, just very deferential to him, very complimentary. When he wasn't there and he talked about getting to be, around Davante, watching him and Davante talk, he picked Davante's brain the whole time, just wanting to talk to him, and the kids now call it chopping it up, and they were chopping it up. And I know that sounds stupid when it comes out of an old man's mouth, but just for our younger audience to understand what I'm talking about, they were just my generation would say shooting the crap or chewing the cud, just talking and laughing and giving each other the business. And then watching Damar Hamlin, and he has not changed the world with his play as a football player, but he impacted the world with his injury. It impacted the world. And just so humble and so kind. And one little kid said, you're my hero. And Damar Hamlin, said, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're fighting a sickness. You're my hero. And that kid's eyes, that here's his hero, Damar Hamlin, telling him, you're my hero. And just sort of seeing it. The kid didn't have tears in his eyes, but his eyes had, he didn't have tears coming out of his eyes, but his eyes watered. And none of the kids knew these guys were coming to the event. And it was just great. And you know what? The next time somebody tells you all football players are this or this young generation is all this, just throw that crap out. I am I have such zenith love for our country and belief in our people. I do. I don't want to hear your Republican Democrat crap. I don't want to hear any of that. I just have such fervent love and affection for my country and my countrymen and women. I believe in this country. I'll never stop believing it. No matter what happens or how divided America gets, I'm not going to hate people that disagree with me. I'm not going to give up my belief in this precious country. And I'm tired of people talking bad about our young people. Here's Damar Hamlin and Micah Parsons, two young superstar players. Micah, one of the best young players in the entire league, a kid that looks like he's on the fast track, the diamond lane. For those of you in the North Country where I'm from, out west here, they'll have these diamond lanes where there's a diamond in the middle of it. It means if you got more than one person in your car, you can go fast and avoid traffic. And it just means it's a quicker lane. Didn't know what that was till I moved out here. But clearly Micah Parsons is in the diamond lane towards what could be a Hall of Fame career. And while Damar doesn't seem to be on a Hall of Fame career, he certainly is probably bigger, more well-known than Micah and Davante because he touched our nation. And watching these guys and their love of people was moving. And I don't want to hear any people tell me about, this sucks, that sucks, this generation sucks, whatever. You don't like the younger generation because their face is in an Xbox, then guess what? Raise them better. Don't blame them. I don't blame a generation of kids whose parents didn't want to spend time with them, so they bought them a computer and said, leave me alone. Raise them better. But I believe in you. I believe in this country. And I'll tell you, every time I hear people that want to talk bad about others, I just don't want to hear that. And so watching DeMar and Davante and Micah was very special. And I enjoyed it. It was a great event. Make sure you get Davante's comments on Getsy. Very, very good. So I the Raiders go and hire Mike Caldwell, which I thought was a very, very good hire. He's the former defensive coordinator with the Jags. He's going to do linebackers and be the run game defensive coordinator. Good hire. Good hire. There are a lot of guys that I think would have been good hires for that. So AP got his guy, and it was a good hire. And they continue to march, continue to move forward, continue to put this staff together. And remember, sometime after the Super Bowl, when all the staff's done, we're going to do a lot on this team, and you guys are going to be completely knowledgeable about the assistant coaches, because I want you to be able to go into next season and key up on points and some things. I think the Raiders have a tremendously talented defensive backfield. Okay. We know that Justin Simmons is leaving. He's going to the Commanders. So Chris Ash is gone. And Justin Simmons is gone. And so they're going to be, revamping the defensive backfield. Okay. I think you're going to see immediate impact. There's a lot of talented young players there. And it's going to be interesting to watch them continue to grow. Jacorian Bennett, that's a young man who's got big star potential. Big star. Amik Robertson, he's a guy that has, really good potential. He's the after Jack Jones, the best playmaker they got at corner. And I wouldn't be shocked if they picked a corner in this draft. But Caldwell comes in, and I think that's a really tremendous addition for the Raiders. Now, Maxx Crosby did not get Defensive Player of the Year. That is a crock. Now, had it gone to TJ Watt at Pittsburgh, I would have had no problem with that. Myles Garrett's a very good player. I'm not saying he's not. But if you were putting together a Mount Rushmore of NFL players right now, TJ Watt and Maxx Crosby are on there. I think Patrick Mahomes is on there. I think there are some other guys on there. If you were putting together a Mount Rushmore of current defensive players, Garrett would be on there. I don't think he's on the Mount Rushmore, but I would have TJ and Maxx on there. I would have, if Maxx would have lost to TJ, I'd have said, yeah, I get it. That I can see that. That's something I can wrap my. No, I can't wrap my mind around Myles Garrett over TJ Watt and Maxx Crosby. Give me a break. Didn't make sense to me. And so I'm going to give you my opinion when I get it. And I'm not saying that because I cover the Raiders, because I just told you if TJ Watt would have won, I would have said, yeah, okay, no problem with that whatsoever. I got a problem with this. And again, I think Garrett had a great year. It isn't because I dislike Myles Garrett. I think he's a great player. I'd love to see the Raiders add Myles Garrett. I think he would make this defense exponentially better. But over TJ Watt? Over Maxx Crosby? Come on now. Now, so last night I was having dinner with a former NFL player, and some friends, and the subject of the NFL came up and about rigged games. And none of us believe the players are involved in any of that. And I don't believe that, by the way. I do not believe that by any chance all referees are involved. I don't think the game is rigged. I'm just going to tell you that. There are a lot of people that do, and there are a lot of people. I heard a stat that came from an NFL quarterback the other day that I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm still trying to make and get it verified. But if it's true, then I think it's another example of why you can make an argument that people feel that way. And the NFL has got to fix officiating. They have to. It's hurting the game. Absolutely hurting the game. And it's something that has to be addressed. And I think that they will. NFL comes out with their new Hall of Fame members, no Raiders. I'm still, Todd Christensen and others. But I'm gonna ramp up this year talking a lot about Todd Christensen, and then there'll be others we talk about too. But Todd Christensen's one that we got to talk about. But and I'm not saying there aren't others, but disappointing, very disappointing. I want to get into something that I find fascinating about the Super Bowl. I've lived here for 5 years in Vegas, been here for 5 years. And this city's had the draft, which I was told was probably the biggest event in Vegas history. Nothing compares. Formula One, if you're not from here, Formula One, the people turned on it. It was a disaster, in my opinion, for Clark County. Just in my opinion. There were so many local businesses that got cut off because they're closing streets for long periods of time. To me, I just thought it was an absolute disaster. The city didn't need Formula One. Formula One needed the city, in my opinion. But I keep hearing from everybody in the city, this is going to be by far. Hotel rooms are booked. The place is crawling with people. I heard a number tonight, or actually this afternoon, excuse me. Well, I don't even know what time it is. Yesterday afternoon, that well over 1 million people. This person said as many as maybe 2.5 million people will be in town that aren't going to the game this weekend. Vegas is always busy on Super Bowl weekend. Then you had a Super Bowl, and it's just astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. And electric environment. Vegas is just the city to do everything great. It's the city. The stadium looks amazing. Looking at the field the other day, it looked fantastic. The stadium is ready to go. And I know it sucks that if you're a Raider fan, your team's not in there and it's your stadium. And a lot of people saying, I'm not going to watch. Well, it's football. You should watch. It's our last game before we get into a long off season, wallowing in the desert, waiting for a chance to get back to the good old days of watching the oblong ellipsoid covered in pigskin. But watch it. It's going to be fun, but the city's on fire. Lastly, I want to read you a quick letter. It comes to us from M.O. I'm just going to use initials. I thought you people would find this interesting. I greatly appreciate all of you. I greatly appreciate all of you. And I told you quite a while ago, I read a newspaper article that said a huge number of Americans, I don't remember if it was 70%, 90%, or somewhere in the middle, but it was very high, that said if they felt like if they died tomorrow, no one would care. They didn't feel appreciated. And so a while ago, I just took a minute in one of my podcasts and said, I wanted you people to know if you're one of that percentage that I care about you. And I got a letter from MO I want to read to you. Dear Hondo, I'm a devout Raider fan. Several weeks ago, you told us about reading a newspaper article and you wanted us to know that you appreciated us. I do feel appreciated by my family, but there are times I feel extremely underappreciated at work. And to be very honest with you, no one in my company who works under my boss likes him. Okay. I just want you to know, I thought about what you said, and I walked up to him and said, I just want you to know, I recently heard my favorite Raider podcaster talk about people not feeling like they matter. I want you to know, I'm not trying to butter you up. I want nothing from you. But I was wondering today if you knew that people do care and that you matter. And if you don't, I just want you to know I do. Hondo, I've applied for several promotions, never get it. Anytime there's promotions, they always hire outside the company. I wanted nothing from him. And in the last several weeks, since I told him that, he has repeatedly come up and just talked to me. I was kind, but I don't really like him, so it wasn't like it was a long conversation. Yesterday, he called me in his office and said to me, I want you to know I was one of those people. My bosses have been very hard on me, and I know I've been hard on all of you. And I literally felt like I didn't matter to anyone. I really appreciate what you said to me. I know you didn't do it for this, but I want to offer you a promotion. I want to be a better boss. I want to be more like you. And that's from MO. So I just want you to know, you have a lot of places you can go for podcasts. I appreciate that you come here. I appreciate that you like and subscribe and share the stuff and you read it. But I literally just want to remind you, you matter to me. And MO just took a chance and just told somebody in his life who's really been a burr under his saddle. If you've never ridden a horse, that's not a good thing. And he didn't do it. You don't do nice things with the hope of reciprocation, but he did it. So take a second, find somebody in your life today. Maybe you're going to walk into a gas station and see some idiot screaming at the lady behind the counter because of gas prices, like she has anything to do with it. But just take a chance, Raider Nation. Just let somebody know that they matter to you. That's all. That's all. You matter to me. I appreciate you. Remember, follow me on IG when you go to Hondo SR, Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, at Hondo Carpenter. SI.com/NFL/Raiders. Read all of our stories. Read that story about AP and people saying he had a 2-year deal. He does not. And click on the newsletter. Never miss another big story again of ours. We appreciate you. Just want you to know it. Want you to know that you matter. You guys are some of the best people in the whole world. It's a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for letting me be your beat writer. Have a great day. God bless you, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow.